Ethan just laughed dismissively, as if everything was one big joke, but Sophia was visibly shivering. My fiancée, Sophia, and I had been dating for 8 months, and everything was going great until Ethan started to wreck our lives with his compulsive behavior. I suppose I should explain our family dynamic so that this makes sense. Ethan and I were raised in a tiny Minnesota town by upper-middle-class parents. Our parents both work in real estate and make good money, but they've always prioritized appearances over genuine family relationships. Ethan was born when I was 3 years old, and he has always been the focal point of our parents' lives. He could do no wrong, but everything was always my fault. Growing up, Ethan exhibited some pretty alarming conduct, which my parents completely disregarded. When he was 6, he purposefully smashed my game console because I refused to let him play whenever he wanted. Instead of penalizing him, my parents got him his own and told me I needed to learn to share more effectively. At 12, he murdered my pet hamster by giving it chocolate, knowing it was deadly. But my parents stated it was a mistake and that I shouldn't have a pet if I couldn't properly care for it. In high school, he created allegations that I cheated on my then-girlfriend, resulting in our split. My parents claimed he was merely protecting her. That tendency persisted into maturity. Ethan still lives at home with our parents, works at my father's real estate firm, and generally does whatever he wants. He has ruined every relationship I have tried to form with my previous girlfriends. He convinced her family that I had a gambling problem, which was absolutely false. Before that, he told another woman that I had cheated on all of my ex-partners, which was also false. My parents would either justify his acts or accuse me of being overly dramatic. When I met Sophia, I resolved to do things differently. I kept our relationship absolutely quiet from my family for the first 3 months to protect her from Ethan's regular techniques. Sophia is truly the best thing that has happened to me. She is an intelligent and caring pediatric nurse at our local hospital. We met in the hospital cafe while I was visiting a coworker who had recently undergone surgery. She was on her lunch break, and we started talking about how bad the hospital coffee was. After a few more coffee discussions, we began dating, and everything seemed great. Sophia knows everything about my family history because I wanted her to be prepared. In fact, she was the one who pushed me to try to introduce her, claiming that things might be different now that we were all adults. One of my favorite things about her is that she constantly looks for the best in people. I eventually agreed to introduce Sophia to my family at a dinner party last month, and then everything started to fall apart. The main difficulty began several days after the dinner. Sophia began to receive weird phone calls and messages from numbers she did not know. At first, she responded with heavy breathing or immediate hang-ups. Then they started leaving more weird voicemails, labeling her stuck up and cold for turning down a better option. Some of the messages included exact data about her work schedule and what she wore that day, proving someone was watching her. Sophia didn't realize it at first, but a couple of voices reminded me of Ethan's high school classmates. This gang of boys still goes out with him and basically follows his orders because his parents give him money to spend. When Sophia blocked those numbers, they simply began phoning from new ones. Then Ethan's pals began showing up at the hospital, appearing to be visitors but actually lingering around the pediatric wing where Sophia works. They would look at her for hours, making loud comments that she could hear. Last week, one of them followed her to her car after she worked the night shift. She was so horrified that she contacted me, crying from inside her car, afraid to drive home in case they were monitoring her. I had to come pick her up and drive her car back while my friend followed us in his car to ensure we weren't being pursued. Sophia has begun experiencing panic attacks before her shifts, and her coworkers have realized something is plainly wrong. Yesterday, I finally got enough evidence to approach Ethan. I had voicemail recordings, messaging screenshots, and hospital security camera footage that showed his friend stalking Sophia. I visited our parents' house where Ethan still resides and showed him everything. He just sat there smugly smiling as I spoke. Then he looked me directly in the eyes and stated he had no idea what I was talking about, but maybe if Sophia wasn't such a spoiled brat, no one would feel the need to teach her a lesson. Something inside of me snapped when he said that, and I hit him in the face. Ethan immediately began screaming as if I had tried to kill him, despite the fact that it was only a little nosebleed. Our parents rushed in, and of course, they lost it at me, not him. They didn't even look at the evidence I tried to provide to them. My mother became enraged over